raising capital successfully. But for the presentation, we also will be doing a disclaimer that this is not a financial advice and this is not a legal advice. And we're not promoting anybody with this presentation. So no sponsors, nobody. So this is what this disclaimer is basically about. Today, what we're going to learn today is what are the sources of funding, who are the investors, funding stages of the startup, how to choose the right investor, and also we're going to go through the investor pitch. So sources of funding. For the sources of funding, there are the following ones that are available for you for your startup. Self-funding, loans, grants, crowdfunding, and investors. On the self-funding stage, which also called the bootstrapping, the ones that invest into your startup, mostly it's a family, friends, and you also rely on your savings. This is for the traditional startups. Tech startup may be a little bit different, but most of the time still the same. So savings, family, and friends' money. When you are taking money from your friends and family, usually the rule of the thumb is not giving them, not promising any equity or anything like that, because you would like to avoid any future dispute with your family and friends. Because when the money starts or the equity starts, that's where the lawsuit starts and that's where the friendships end. Therefore, maintain it just on the personal level, no equity sharing. This way you gain, still have a full control over your company and still have your friends and family. If they would like to give money, if they would like to support you, it's good. But not for the exchange, not in exchange for the equity. Of course, you also at risk here of losing your savings if you dig into your savings or retirement, so watch for that. But if you really believe in your idea and you know that it's taking off, then you have pretty much you're good. Other way to fund, it's a loans. There are different loans that are available. Majority of them is a personal loans, business loans, and a government. You in the assignment for this workshop, we will have research from you which loans are available from your government. So you can go and Google, because all the countries having different loans. And maybe you will have a very good loan that government gives you, or the bank, which is the business loan, the bank gives you and with a good interest rate. Also, the personal loan you can take when you put some collateral against the loan. In this case, again, you maintain full control of your startup. Then you also don't lose your equity, but you need to check eligibility requirements. And of course, you have a risk of losing your collateral, your house or your car or whatever you put as a collateral for this loan. So the next is the grants. And again, there are government grants and programs that exist in every country. So I encourage you to check your government grants that are available through your government. I know Canada has, for example, lots of grants that are business oriented. And at the end of the presentation, if we have John Irvin here, so he will probably be talking about that. And so John is our mentor and he is the grants guru. So he actually set us up with the grants, and this is something that he can help you with as well. And as well, the private grants could be available for you too, but this is also requires a little bit of the research. Again, the cons of the getting a grant, you again maintain full control of your company, no equity sharing, but the process of getting a grant can be very long and complex. Lots and lots of forms, lots of interviews, and follow back and forth. So it can take, a year or two to even get one grant. But once you get into the government grant program, it will be easier to get every subsequent grants. And also grants are usually small amounts. Sometimes they are big though, but usually they are small amounts of money. Another source of funding is a crowdfunding. This is the funding that comes from the large number of people in return for either gifts or an equity. In this case, you also maintain full control of your company, but in some cases there could be some equity sharing, so you will give out a small percentage of the equity to the crowd. And also you have certain financial obligation to the platforms and to your investors. So you need to read fine print on what you what they are entitled for and what are the risks for you. In blockchain, crowdfunding is become very different though. So we all know there's the boom that we had in 2018 with the initial coin offering. This is when a company issues a token or coin on a blockchain and sell this coin in the hopes that people, just the general public, buy them and therefore invest in their startup with these funds. There was a lot of startups doing this, and we know that 9% of them failed and investors lost their money. But they were very successful in losing money. Though the security laws are still applied to them, and now they're facing the legal consequences. Some of them go into jail. So you have to be very, very careful when doing crowdfunding, that you have to obey to all securities laws. So right now we also see same thing happening in decentralized finance. It's a little bit different, but still also lots of companies doing the fundraising when they put in their tokens for sales, and with the promise that it will grow to the investors, and people invest into their tokens. Again, in the future, we might find that they will face the legal consequences. We don't know about this yet. But the only thing we know that this is a relatively easy, if you're blockchain savvy, it takes like about 5 minutes to create your own coin on Ethereum blockchain, and therefore anybody can do it. We can do the whole presentation on the tokens and coins on a blockchain, but not at this time. There are traditional sites for the crowdfunding, like for example, a Kickstarter and Indiegogo, but this applies more for the art projects or the projects that are having something like some tangible gifts that they can give to their investors. It's very simple. It's a very, very good actually market test, so you can receive a feedback from your crowd right away. But really, you have to be very careful when you listing your project on this website, because you will have actually one-time opportunity. Because if your project will not start, if you don't create enough buzz before putting it for the crowdfunding, and if other people, you cannot do it second time. You only have one-time shot, and there's also a goal that you need to reach, a financial goal. And usually it requires, if you don't reach this financial goal, then your crowdfunding campaign, so you don't raise any funds at all. So it's no guarantee of funds, and also only tangible products that you can give as a gift to your investors. So this is not applied to all the projects, especially not the technology ones. There are also equity funding platforms. We have the list of them here. Same thing. It's a one-time opportunity, but it's really, really good market test. for your product, for your project. No guarantee of funds, but also this platforms, they have, so like you have to pay, I think, like $300 a month while listing on their platforms. And also all the security laws, they also apply. So you have to read the fine print. So far we went through the sources of funding: self-funding, loans, grants, crowdfunding, and now we're moving on to investors.